Boys, don't mind the bells. 2 more days and we're out of these things. And then the sub goal starts for another week of them. The good news is we've got a fantastic patch on our hands here. Now, we checked out the PTR notes when those came out a few days ago and waited with a masturbated breath because the notes were absolute slappers in my opinion. So we've got the official notes that came out today on live, and we're gonna check these out. We're gonna see what's actually there. I'm already seeing pocket dungeons. I've come across 2 of them, so we're up tremendous. All right, so overall highlights. I do believe these are going to be the same as the PTR. Sand Squall Desert has many updates, including adding pocket dungeons, NPCs, and new desert exclusive gatherables and recipes for all artisanship professions. Guild level progression. 6,300 gold worth for level 1, by the way. Skill tree and guild commodity vendor have been added. Significant balance changes and ability tweaks for bard and fighter archetypes. You're just gonna act like you did an entirely rework tank? Hello? Do we not exist? Yo, what up, Rezzy? What do they mean by pocket dungeons? Reach in my pocket and find out. I'm sorry, I can't say that on Twitch. They are miniature dungeons that are like more expansive than a normal POI would be, but less expansive than a fully built out dungeon, which is like Carfin, Steel Bloom, or something like that. So I've encountered 2 so far, and they tend to be like little caves that expand downward, at least within the desert. All right. We made it through the highlights. Northern lights are only on the sky. Oh no, northern lights go fucking sicko mode. Those bitches are refractory as fuck. That changes the whole, like, we've hit the northern lights. We've had the northern lights in Maine, like, recently. And that shit made everything beautiful outside. You smoke them too? I had a Northern Lights RSO. That was pretty solid. It was in cart form, of course, but maybe that was the Northern Lights. RSO. All right, we can't get distracted again. I still have like half that cart kicking around somewhere. I don't really fuck with carts that much. Anyways. Patch notes. We must. All right. Sand Squall Desert. Chat, we're 5 lines in. We're at like one line every 6 minutes. Sand Squall Desert Pocket Dungeons. Pocket dungeons are mini dungeons that are available based on node level. These offer greater risk and greater rewards than generally adventuring out in the world. Bosses here can have unique gear drops. Added pocket dungeons in the following places. Brood Pit Pocket Dungeon is north of Azmoran. Wait. The Azamar? Wait. So, there's Azmoran, there's Aethanar, and there's Sunhaven. Someone asked about this earlier. Is that a typo? Or is it like northeast of Azamar? Would that be like the border between the two? Anyways. Lost Heroes Sepulture Pocket Dungeon is to the north of 8th. Prismarium is northeast of Azmoran, maybe. We'll head northeast and we'll check it out. Later. Scarab Song Hollow is east of Sunhaven. Snakebite Stash is east of 8th. And Vault of the Immigrant is northeast of Sunhaven. Sand Squall Desert, enemies and NPCs. So these are going to be the same, looks like the same across the board as the PTR notes. Elite enemies added to the Sand Squall Desert include the Najash Hunter, Predator, and Tracker. Elite enemy variants added to the Sand Squall Desert include Desert Crocodile, Bull Crocodile, Sandweaver Scorpion, Venom Strike Scorpion, Giant, Sandweaver Scorpion, Scarab, and Crimson Scarab. Let's see. New enemy variants added to the desert include Sand Squall Broodling, Scarab Hatchling, Crimson Giant Scarab, and Desert Flesh Golem. I haven't seen any of the Desert Flesh Golems across yet, so it'll be interesting. Yo, what up, Seat? I have you figured out how to flag attacker and defender on caravans this patch? We can't flag. Vans might just be free to run right now. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Replaced enemies that spawn near nodes Sunhaven, Azmoran, and 8th with Sand Squall Desert enemies. Fantastic. Increase wander distance for enemies to make the desert feel less static. Crystal Golem's disintegrate ability will now be more reliable. I mentioned this before, but this was basically, I think, a hitbox thing. I haven't fought one yet. But the Golem had a really weird interaction with its, let's see. We'll say like over here. Yeah, you guys can see up here. Flick. So we'll say this is the big angry golem. Right? And then we're gonna delete that. And then we'll say like this is the laser. So previously, this is how it worked. It would have a little dead zone right in here where I, as a goofy goober, could essentially step in and not be hit by it. But what I think this did is took away this dead zone and essentially made it Laser of Doom if you do miss a trip. So this was kind of like anybody that played Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction a lot. If you played a melee or hammered in or anything like that, when you're fighting Diablo, you'll know that there's a dead zone in the red laser that Diablo does. Same thing with the disintegrate previously. And I think they might have fixed that now and taken away that dead zone. And I'm kind of terrified to fight golems because I feel like my trips exclusively save all of their misses for golem fights. It's kind of terrifying, but I think that's the reliability that they added. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of scared, though. I hope that dead zone's still there. Large Scorpion can now Fury Pincer Smash, improved Scorpion attack visuals, underground movement, and various other animations. Giant Scarab has now has improved visuals for attacks. Artisanship added new huntable NPCs, so we'll see if anything is here. Let's see. These include Broodlink Scorpion, Daystrider, Crocodile, Dynasty Beetle, Hippo, and the Veshin Komodo. Additionally, Glimmering Geode and Bone Strider may be obtained from specific enemies. Oh, that differs from what was in the PTR notes, because those were just listed under those huntables. So, now we should probably do some research into loot tables as soon as they're, like, compiled and see where these guys are dropping. Because that's very interesting. The Geode and the Bone Strider are both drop mounts. And I'm assuming if it's specific enemies, those are going to be like big boss related in the pocket dungeon. So I think we finally have some drop mounts in the game, right? That's pretty nice. I like that a lot. Flail Runner has carcasses on its hunting drop table. Swiftclaw huntable NPC has more spawn locations. Speckled Dace, Sand Squall Pupfish, there's a scorpion walking near me in game, and Gila Chub have been added to the fishing loot tables in the Sand Squall Desert. Fuck me. Scorpion just ran up to me, hit me twice, and is running away. Look. What the fuck? Yo, what up, Elder? What up, Clutch? Haven't played for a while. Any new dramas? No dramas. Although Vera's flat, Steven's lying. That's all. Steven said that Vera's round, but I think it's flat. Fuck, I should have showed Planendorf my flat Vera theory. That could have been escalated. Do we believe in a 2025 release? No, that's not even on the roadmap. No, God, no. You'd be lying to yourself. Like, you would be going against what the developers have said. So basically the timeline as it stands right now is May 1st, Alpha 3 begins, like the Phase 3. Live service. And then that's expected to be at least a year. Past that, we go into the beta. Which beta so far is beta 1, beta 2, I do believe. And that's supposed to be at least another year. So 2 to 3 years for the full launch of the game is what's estimated. But with any of the alpha packs, you get access the entire time. So it's kind of like the way to look at it. With that buy-in for the playtesting phase, not only do you get the 90-day period where you can get a refund no matter how many hours you played, 90 days after your purchase, but you can also play like the entire time up until the launch. 2027 launch? Yeah, probably 2027, 2020, excuse me, hiccups 8. Somewhere in there. But I'm not Intrepid Studios. It's also development, right? And I feel like everything can change in development with the blink of an eye, either for better or worse. And like, I'm not Intrepid, and I'm sure they know that as well. I mean, look at PoE 2. PoE 2 came out, and initially everybody was so hyped. Go check the PoE 2 subreddit. It's on fire. They announced PoE 1 is no longer receiving like updates and support because they're fully working on PoE 2. And PoE 2 has been regarded as like apparently not that good compared to PoE 1 within the community. And the PoE community is on fire because of it. Absolute fire. So, yeah, I feel like anything can change, but one thing that I've seen is every update with Ashes tends to be getting better. We're looking at some patch notes right now with the most recent update, but they just went through with their big desert rework. Added 6 new pocket dungeons, which are basically mini dungeons, rare drop mounts as well for the first time in the alpha. And we're going through it right now. We're getting into some artisanship stuff. They added cacti as a lumberjacking gatherable. Let's go. Acacia and date palm. Obsidian as a mining gatherable. Sandstone. Paintbrush plant has been added as an herbalism gatherable. Interesting. Poppy and agave have been added as new herbalism gatherables. Some gatherables found in the Riverlands have been removed from the Sand Squall Desert. Oh, interesting. So originally, this was removing all of the Riverland spawns, but you're still having some. 20 launch with half the world. I personally, hear me out, I don't have any like, I want this on launch, I don't want this on launch. I want them to take as much time as they need to put out a finished product on launch that is ready to launch. Because I feel like live service games, especially in this era, have just been an excuse for people to put out unfinished products and say, oh, we're going to fix this, blah, 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 blah. Like, they are actually taking the development time and using their community as a resource to aid in the finishing of the final product, right? Like, I think across the board, Ashes is setting itself up for a successful launch, which is something that most games simply can't do right now. So many games that come out are just losing momentum so quickly. Retention is awful. Core gameplay loops are just very, very like shallow. I really feel like Ashes is setting itself up for a lot of success. Just learned that all 18 biomes don't need to be in for launch. Yeah, I don't even know any of the processes for any of that. Honestly, like, I tend to not, like, it might sound stupid, but I tend to not provide, like, actual input past just noticing game-breaking things and going, duh, this game's really fun, or this isn't working properly, right? Because I'm not a dev, I don't pretend to be. The game just comes to life before my eyes, and I go, wow, this is really cool. I couldn't do this myself. And so I just enjoy it. So honestly, like, whatever's ready for the game in development phases, whatever ends up being like pushback on launch, really, I think they're checking a lot of boxes with their roadmap too. A lot more than most people. A lot more than most devs right now. But I feel like their percentage of hits on their roadmap overall has been a lot better than a lot of roadmaps that I've seen coming from the games that I've come from. So there's a reason that I'm so happy over here all the time. And it's because I'm seeing a lot of progress. Like, every downtime is just leading to more progress and more fun within the testing environment that's going to lead to a much more successful game long term. And everything is looking very, very up. People aren't used to that anymore. Not 100%. I think people also aren't used to like the level of transparency that they're seeing here. And I feel like it's really weird for people to look at something that's in a true alpha because I've had so many people that come in and they're like, they think that this is an early access. And an early access is traditionally a post-beta pre-launch product that's supposed to be in a finished, polished state. And so many things within early access in games have still been cooked. And I feel like this in a like true alpha state, not early access, is already core gameplay loop wise more enjoyable than most things that I've played recently. And it's crazy to think about. As much as people will complain, I'm very satisfied with the progress, even as much as we've seen during P1. As much as we've seen since P1. Even since I've been here, the game feels entirely different. Like, the entire aesthetic of the desert just got a very good rework, and I think that's going to make the clutter of previous late game POIs and those actual dungeons a lot more playable. Like, I think this is essentially the closest thing that I've seen in terms of the game receiving an expansion since I've been here. Like, this is a massive update that makes the entire desert now like a bit of a hub for a bit. The Riverlands will still be extremely populated, but a lot of people are going to come down to the desert, especially with the new pocket dungeons, especially once word spreads that you can farm up mounts. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm already seeing more people in the desert than I had previously. All right, let's see. We finished the artisanship. Gives reason to be there versus the furthest spot for caravan turn. True. Yeah, it adds a lot of validity to the desert. It also, like I mentioned before, there was previously a huge bottleneck in like Carfin, and in that like 18 to 25, it got really condensed really quickly. And I think across the board, this is going to help fluidity of that late game push because it's going to disperse a little bit of that clump too. It's going to give people a lot more options in where they're farming throughout the day. And I think that's going to make the world feel a little bit more like spread in that late game push. And hopefully those people that are leveling will get a lot more like fluidity through that end process. All right, let's see. Sand Squall Desert quests and events. Created Sand Squall Desert reward tables for events in the zone. Set up commissions board to have some commissions that are exclusive to either the Sand Squall Deserts or Riverlands biomes. Ambush event has been added to the north of 8th. Ambush by night, which I would assume happens at night, has been added north of 8th. Scorpion Charmer has been added to the northeast of Sunhaven. Shade Bellies event has been added to the Lawless Zone. Shady Mayhem event has been added northeast of Sunhaven. Over 420 treasure map locations have been added to the Sand Squall Desert. Note about this, tomorrow on the 31st, Intrepid has talked about how they're going live with an official stream. And they're going to be showing off a treasure hunt during that stream. I would assume that's going to be showing off the new desert rework, and they'll be doing those desert treasures. So, if anyone does those today, over the course of your adventures, and you happen to find any bugs, make sure you report those so we can help them make that stream go as good as possible. Events in the desert are up to level 25 too. Huge. Yeah, it adds so much more to do. Fix many treasure mounds that were spawning underground. Then we go into environment and visuals. Sand Squall Desert has had many changes and improvements to the look and feel of this biome. Slightly more green. More caravan accessible routes have been added. Yield construction signs have been added in some exceptionally work in progress areas. Temporary oceans have been added around the Sand Squall Desert Peninsula. Added landmarks for future POI development. Updated terrain around Asmarin and the southern edge of the Sand Squall Desert. Added large essence crystals throughout the Sand Squall Desert. We saw a lot of those. Clouds in the Sand Squall Desert have been changed to feel more in line with the biome climate. Added dust storm visuals that change based on wind speed. That's pretty cool. Added heat shimmer visual effects that change based on temperature. Unique lighting has been added to some areas of the Sand Squall Desert. Ambient audio. I just thought that scorpion was going to come hit me again. Oh no, Diddy's riding by me. I think I'd rather it be a scorpion. Unique lighting has been added to some areas of the Sand Squall Desert. Ambient audio and VFX have been added to the Sand Squall Desert. Improved collision with many things in the desert. Then we go general. See, this is the thing though. Effective immediately, all Santa hats, candy canes, Christmas trees, and all forms of Christmas cheer have been purged from Vera. Don't tell Dad But I still got my Christmas condom on. So I'm just putting that out there. Don't tell anyone, chat. Keep it between us. Anyways, the bug reporting tool has been updated. There are more drop-downs to better categorize bug reports. An exploit checkbox has also been added to help testers escalate exploits to us. Nice, I love that. Added a 7-day expiration to marketplace item listings. Items that have expired can be reclaimed and relisted. Shrines will now automatically attune when you're a small distance away. Adjusted a variety of levels and rewards for side quests. Updated a variety of descriptions for equipment. Added environment assets to help support Road to Jova quests. Fixed a duplication exploit related to Stolen Glint. Oh. Oh, really? Well. Laugh, you see it poof immediately? No, we're vibing. We're vibing. I haven't got killed by Steven in like a while. It's good. I feel invulnerable. And the thing is, they recently buffed the Snorse like today. And they made it way faster. So they're going to want the fast Snorse shown off. So while I'm on the fast Snorse, I'm invincible. Oh, yo. Charles, what's up? I'm tagging. Yo, we don't have the commands on YouTube. When you're back over on Twitch, just do exclamation bardcore. Yeah, just do that one. Yo, what up, Strange? Any more news on Rogue? If it's polished and ready to go on launch. Watch the game go absolutely schizo and every game is going to show up from the results. Oh, yeah. Rogue's going to PTR first week of February. Estimated to come to public on, I think it's like mid to late Feb. We don't have the exact date, but slowest mount and you need new smiting. No, it's not the slowest mount anymore. Look, it got like buffed. Yeah, it's like 170 now. It actually flies. It's so fast. So yeah, they're gonna want this like shown off. And the thing is, like, they gave it 5100 HP as well. So as long as I'm on this, I'm invincible. They won't smite me. I'm perfectly safe. Everything's fine. The world is great. Everybody report to Node War. Wait, Node War where? No Node War. I'm a pacifist. But yeah, I'm safe. I'm safe. We doing something with the guild today or y'all just chilling? Oh yeah, if people are on, I'm down for whatever. Because people are at the level where we can start gear farming and shit. There's a lot going on with the desert pocket dungeons and stuff. We can definitely check those out. Because there were some chill spawns in there as well. I'm sure that we could post up, find a little area in there. Some of them had shardlings and stuff too. There's 6 of them, so surely they're going to be pretty available. All right, let's finish these bad boys. Anyways. Ba-da-ba. More server stability improvements. Fantastic. General character. Pressing escape will no longer cancel abilities that have consumed a cost. This will make it so that Bard music isn't canceled by hitting escape. Fixed a bug preventing weapon combo finishers from stacking correctly. Significantly improved performance for weapon combos. Increase the road buff for characters, mounts, and caravans. Shield block chance and wand damage should no longer have incorrect stat stacking. Updated visual effects for the tank's absorption field, indomitable spirit, intimidating aura, taunt, and wall abilities. Out of combat regen is now displayed as a regen stat. Some of these were the previous visual updates as well. So I don't know if that's going to be still cooking or not, but we'll see. Mounts. Improved sound effects for various enemies and mounts. Fixed a bug preventing mounts from jumping if up against a wall. Fixed a variety of updated a variety of mounts to include much more detailed descriptions. Added audio to swimming, sprinting, and running. Added a possible fix to prevent characters from rubber banding after dismounting. Whew. Yo, what up, Stompington? Having a fantastic day. How are you, brother? Huge patch for Ashes today. Absolutely massive. All right, Bard changes, boys. Bard Resonance has been added as a stat to the player's HUD. Dark Lullaby. Single target gets nerfed from 15% to 3% damage bonus per debuff. AoE goes 10% to 3%, but its base damage goes up from 25 to 35. Chilling Lament. Single target damage reduced from 75 to 60% of base damage. AoE base damage reduced from 50% to 40%. So a little bit of a nerf there as well. Discordance is going to get a major rework here. Reduce damage from 75, 50, 25 to 50, 37.5, and 25. But to accommodate that lower damage, your cooldown is reduced from 25 seconds to 15 seconds. So, not too bad. Not too bad. There's a Scarab Hatchling that is just hitting me for some reason. Mock base damage increased from 110 to 125. Fiery Whip burn damage reduced from 75 to 60%. Resonance will now grant an extra stack at the end of songs and dances. Resonant Weapon Menacing, shock stacks applied reduced from 5 to 1 per stack consumed. Sagas will now have a 90-second cooldown and will not consume theme buffs. I'm just getting hit by a hatchling. Themes have been reworked to target base stats and optionally stack or weave with each other. Fortissimo will now empower melodies at the cost of resonance. Pantheon Saga has been reworked to grant a mana restoration weapon buff. Nimble Dance will prioritize dispelling crowd control effects. Polish the animation and timing for a variety of sagas. Cleric Mend increased base healing from 1 to 1.5. Flash Cure decreased base healing from 2.5 to 1.75 and increased the mana cost of Flash Cure from 10 to 20. Deliverance and Divine Infusion get updated sound effects. And on to Mage. Shatter reduced damage from 300 to 225. El Bozo. Y'all got cooked. Big tank rework. So, this is, in my opinion, going to be a really fun rework for tank. I haven't respec'd yet. I've got to do that after the patch notes. But we're going to give it a good look-see. To start with, Vengeance damage increased, from 90, 100, 110 to 120, 130, 150. That's insane. Temporary health increased from 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 to 2% across the board. Remove the courage cost and added a mana cost of 10 and an 8-second cooldown per charge. Targeting is changed from AoE to single target. No longer breaks combo progression, allowing it to be weaved between combos. Successive combos cancel some post frames for each previous combo step. Incoming hits now reduce the cooldown by half a second, and blocked hits reduce the cooldown by 1 second, and it has a 1 second internal cooldown. So if you're blocking consistently with weaving this in, then you could get, 50% cooldown reduction. Temporary health duration increased from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. I think that means decreased. Anyways, I'm not good at math, but I think that's a decrease. Anyways, multiple temporary health stacks now properly expire. Final combo attack now stuns the target for 3 seconds, boys. Good golly. Grit. Grit is very important to tanks. Previously, it was a permanent uptime that would reduce your outgoing damage by 25%. Your outgoing threat, it would increase it by 50% as a trade-off. The cool thing about the functionality of that is Intimidating Aura as a tank is based on your max HP for its threat calculation and not your outgoing damage. So Intimidating Aura was just getting an extra 50% threat gen for 0 trade-off, right? So they found a way to rework that and redistribute our threat generation from primarily that Intim Aura like AFK tick to our active abilities. So with Grit, changed from a toggle ability to now have a 10-second duration, which may be stacked up to 2 times. Each activation now costs 40 courage and grants 10% physical mitigation. Remove the damage penalty and the threat bonus. No longer breaks combo progression as well, so you can weave that into combos. The Supernatural Grit passive will now grant half of the physical mitigation as magical mitigation. So you can get up to 10% magic mit with both of your stacks active. Pretty large because it increases your outgoing damage by 25% across the board, reduces your threat gen, primarily that threat gen from your Intimidating Aura, by 50%. So your active abilities, your damagers, are going to do a lot more active threat now, and your Intim Aura will do a lot less. But Intim Aura is still very good. Courage no longer provides passive mitigation. Easy peasy. Inciting Strikes, damage increased from 50% to 75% per hit. Now generates 3 courage per enemy hit and up to 10 enemies per swing. And the threat multiplier reduced from 400 to 300%. Inciting Strikes is nuts now, by the way. This is insano style. I fully plan to respec into it. I wasn't using it before, but that is wacky. You hit twice up to 10 enemies. So it's up to 150% damage to 10 enemies, and it generates up to 30 courage per swing. Oh no, up to a max of 10 courage per swing. That's the interesting caveat. That's the interesting one. So I just looked at inciting strikes in game. Generate 3 courage per target hit with each swing, up to a max of 10 courage per swing. So you can still get 20 courage, but that's a little bit of a catch there. So you're not just gonna juice your courage like crazy, but as long as you're hitting like 3+ enemies, then you're good. You're still gonna get like 18 courage. That would probably be too much courage if there was no cap on it. Either way, inciting strikes is up tremendous, I think. That's definitely... Inciting strikes is definitely going to be worked in as like a primary. Ground pound also, I think this is a huge buff for it. Cool thing with ground pound is recently staggered enemies, when they're hit by ground pound, end up getting tripped for 2 seconds. And it used to be a 60-second cooldown, 33 courage cost. Now it's 50 courage cost on a 20-second cooldown. So that is a lot more uptime on an AoE trip. Like it's a frontal cone attack. Very, very cool there. Slam, damage decreased by 25%. Remove the mana cost and cooldown. Each activation now costs 40 courage, and removed the knockback passive. So Slam is just dealing 200% physical damage to targets in front of you. It costs 40 courage, so it's a courage dump with no cooldown. So that could be really interesting for like AoE throughput. Instead of something like using 2 points for Desolate and Punish, I'm almost thinking about taking that out and then just going Slam instead in that Desolate area. Because if you look at it, you've got Desolate with Punish for AoE, right? That's a 15-second cooldown and a 1.2-second cast, 150% damage. It's guaranteed to crit against snared or recently tripped enemies. But it costs mana. If I take those 2 points out, I go into Slam instead. That's 200% fizz damage to all targets in front of me, and it's only 1 point, which would then give me another point freed up to go elsewhere, which would allow me to go inciting strikes. Excuse me. I'm kind of liking that already. As we get into more boss stuff, I'm also going to have to go Taunt, just because Humiliated's so good. Humiliated's such a strong debuff. Humiliated reduces the damage that targets do to anybody other than me. So, anything AoE. Don't do it. Don't change abilities right now. Weapon skills and player ability specs are bugged right now. Oh. So, like, actual character respecs are bugged too? Well, fuck me. That's rude. Well, back to the changes. Absorption field, temporary health reduced from 20% to 15%. Iron aura increased mitigation from 2% to 5% mitigation for all party members within 10 meters, by the way. Large. Intercept, temporary health increased from 8% to 10% and no longer has an increased effect when you cast it on yourself. Fortify no longer scales duration off courage consumed, so it previously scaled up to a 20% damage mitigation for 20 seconds. Now it'll be a 20% damage mitigation for 10 seconds. Indomitable Spirit, max health and healing received has been reduced from 30% to 20%. Pretty large change as well. But that rounds out the tank changes. We're almost there. We're not almost there. Jesus. Good God. I just want to play the game. All right, Fighter. All forms now granted automatically upon leveling. Fluidity unlocks at level 5 and Celerity unlocks at level 10. The passives for Fluidity and Celerity have been swapped. Fluidity now provides health regen. Celerity now provides mana regen. Both passives now restore up to 1% health or mana after a successful weapon combo finisher based on current combat momentum. Form cooldown increased from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Cooldowns now trigger on the form being swapped from rather than the one being swapped to. So you won't be able to swap like directly back to the one that you came from by the sounds of it. Cataclysm reduced cooldown from 45 to 30 seconds. Wallop charges reduced from 3 to 1. Now trip staggered enemies. Add a passive skill to Wallop, which will return 30% of momentum spent as a percentage of maximum health to the caster over 10 seconds. Added impact sound effects. Crippling Blow no longer trips against staggered targets. now applies an additional snare stack to staggered targets. Battlecry added a passive that breaks CC upon activation, now applies the demoralized effect to enemies. Berserk removed the CC crowd control break passive. Wait, sorry. Remove the CC break passive from the skill tree. I had a stroke there. That just got switched over to Battlecry instead. Knockout now applies shaking to the target. Form of Fluidity now grants up to 15% additional physical and magical evasion based on the current combat momentum. That's a lot, by the way. 15% evasion is a ton. Disable evasion reduced from 40 to 25%. Leap Strike now staggers instead of snares. Will still apply 3 snare stacks to shaken targets. Rupture now stacks its effect multiple times on the same target when used consecutively or by multiple fighters. Whirlwind reduced post-animation frames and improved transitions into subsequent abilities. The final hit from the climactic passive now staggers enemies. Spin hit damage increased from 30 to 45%. So Whirlwind seems buffed, right? Big Whirlwind buffs, which we love. Ranger new passive ability, Siphoning Regen. Each time the target of your regen effect deals damage to your marked target, they gain health and mana regen equal to 5% of the damage dealt for 5 seconds. Stride, Regen, and Thorns all get updated sound effects. And status effects wise, Demoralized damage penalty has been reduced from 30% to 15%. Jesus. Caravans. When swapping a caravan component, fixed an issue that made an empty pop-up instead of a confirmation window appear. The unstuck ability will now be a 15-second channel for characters and caravans. Fixed bugs causing caravans to get stuck and improved recovery logic. After caravan recovery, map indicators should now be updating properly. Improve the visuals for caravan cargo explosion. Fixed a bug with not being able to remove cargo from caravans after delivering it to a node. Fixed a bug causing caravans to lose functionality after mounting in water. After a caravan's destroyed, its owner's caravan combatant status will now be returned to normal. Economy and artisanship. Added a new guild commodities vendor. We visited that, lad. Hunting elixir should no longer give non-hunting related stats. Reduced max batch size for tanning station to 50. Marketplace layouts are now available for node at stage 2. Adjusted the respawn time for some respawning reward chests. Fixed some infinite glint loot chests. That would be large. They don't care about Ranger? Oh, they care about Ranger. Yeah, you got a passive. Yeah, you're up tremendous. You made out better than Mage did. Let's put that out there. You made out way better than Mage did. Nodes. Fixed a bug causing items in storage to be lost after losing citizenship. Oh, fantastic. People were talking about that. Enchanting scrolls have been added to node citizenship vendors. Fixed issues where some NPCs at node service buildings were non-interactable. The Memorial Site NPC now provides an adventuring experience buff to citizens and a weaker version of the buff to non-citizens. I have to get buffs when I go to nodes. I haven't been doing that. What happened to Mage? Shatter damage reduced from 300 to 225. Freeholds. Updated the dialogue for the Freehold Well tutorial. Freehold Well tutorial will explain the gatherable loop. Added an interactable bed to freehold houses that give a buff. Can I use other people's beds? Added freehold storage chests. When accessing storage from a freehold, characters should no longer be able to purchase material tabs and item chunks. Added new rooting ball recipes. Guild level progression, skill tree, and guild commodity vendor have been added. Generally applied buffs to the skill tree. Archetype names should now show up correctly in the guild window. Added guild rank promotion and demotion for guild roles. Added custom naming for guild roles. Performed a balance pass for guild XP. Fixed a bug that would cause member rank changes to not do anything. So big guild progression coming in as well. We've already looked at that a little bit. It's going to take a bit to level by the look of everything. But when you do level, there are some large rewards coming in. Enemies and NPCs. Enemy critical hit rates have been significantly reduced. Tank buff. Adjusted NPC behavior for numerous enemies and refined NPC difficulty progression. Enemy damage has been increased slightly for higher level enemies, probably to compensate for those crit hit rates. Updated animations for a variety of enemies and NPCs. Improved visual effects for a variety of enemy NPC abilities. Various updates to numerous types of NPCs. Fixed a bug with the Minotaur Summoner's Wolf Bite. Scorpion Burrow Protection to remain indefinitely after killing a character. Fixed a bug preventing the Minotaur Spirit from using abilities. Fixed a bug causing the zombie scholars to be infinitely kiteable. Fixed a bug with griffins not dropping feathers or bones. Fixed a bug causing Tumok to sometimes get step-broed. Adjusted the location of bears in Baineswood Cemetery. Increased respawn timers for Forsaken Blades and Merciless General. Adjusted the population of NPCs at the Brood Pit and Lost Heroes Sepulture, which are two of the pocket dungeons. Fixed a bug causing the Minotaur Warrior to behave incorrectly. Fixed a bug where animated armors were unable to navigate to players. Fixed a bug preventing the Dunir Berserker from using their homing axe's ability. Adjusted the population density of the Prismarium. Vault of the Immigrant has now been populated. Events, quests, and commissions. Added a spin-up phase to Guild Wars. Fixed various quests that were previously unable to be completed. Added additional quests along the New Ayla path. Enhanced a variety of quests with added dialogue for better context and exposition. Adjusted quest indicators to more accurately match their intended locations. Removed the ability to turn in mayoral commissions via the journal. Wait. Like the complete all commissions? DustyWhy. I like that button. What up, Jedi? No guild storage or bank. Nothing mentioned in this patch. Let's see. Visuals. Improved environmental visuals in and around the nodes. Adjusted lighting at low and medium graphic settings. Enhanced visuals for Seth, Citadel of Steelbloom, Gravepeak, and North Darrigal Estates. Fixed a bug where some road intersections were missing near New Ayla. Updated foliage visuals in the tropics. Fixed visual issues for a wide variety of equipment, but not my tits getting smaller when I'm on my mount. Fixed many places where characters could fall out of the world and access unintended locations. Updated the Seth Iron District, Silver District, Ruins, and Cathedral of Virtue. Added collision to some types of trees. Fixed collision issues in and around the Ursine Cave and Darrigal Mills. Fixed a bug causing white lava falls in Befallen Forge. And fixed a bug causing moonlight to sometimes blind players. We got flashbanged pretty recently. On to the UI improvements. Made improvements to the UI for the skill tree, archetype tree, processing station menu, character creator, sculpt menu, profession interface, player frame, lock icon, quest reward, and mini map. Added a new recipe item display to the profession progression window. The marketplace now auto selects materials if no items are available in the selected shop. Updated various economy menus for improved functionality and clarity. Fixed a bug causing character race to display incorrectly when switching rapidly between the races. Added a caravan launch radius to the map. Tooltips will better adjust their location to stay on screen. Character creator characters will be better centered. And fixed a bug with the gender buttons in the race tab, not properly changing gender in the appearance tab. Fixed a bug with scaling the world map legend. Updated animations for the world map legend. Fixed a bug where the accept and decline options would be missing on raid invites. Updated the text in the invite the raid menu. Fixed a bug with the confirm and cancel bugs not properly showing the set home point menu. Added an expiration time column to the marketplace sell item interface. Updated the expiration field for expired marketplace listings. Updated text in the node citizenship interface. Updated text and icons for when the combatant state is fading. Created new icons for empty artisanship slots. Fixed a bug that could cause developer text to be displayed sometimes. Updated some font styles. Fixed a variety of typos. Improved sound effects for various enemies and mounts, and conducted an audio pass to enhance the sound design of several enemies and NPCs. Just a small little patch. Just a teeny tiny balance pass. Oh my god! That was so much.